Good day, everybody, and welcome back to EZ-E's TV shows and movie reviews, episode 2. I'm your host, EZ-E-H. What's up, everybody? So today on episode 2, we're going to be reviewing something that caused a lot of buzz in the entertainment industry this last week. It had everybody skeptic. Everybody has their own opinion on what's going on, what we saw, and it's going to be over the trailer for the up-and-coming movie A Quiet Place, in theaters April 6, 2018, what was optioned and made by Platinum Dooms, writers Brian Woods and Scott Beck, directed by John Krasinski, and producer Michael Bay. Wait, easy. Did you just say Michael Bay, the legendary director, one of the greatest directors of our generation? Yes. That Michael Bay, the same director from the Transformers movies, Bad Boys 1 and 2, The Rock, you could arguably say one of the greatest action directors of our time. Now, you're thinking, okay, this was a horror movie and it's also a thriller. What is Michael Bay doing mixing his feet with that? Well, pump your brakes. This isn't the first time Michael Bay has ever dipped his feet in a horror film. This is something he's been doing for a time now. His company, Platinum Dooms, they've been making horror films and optioning horror films for a while now. They've done such movies such as the remake of The Nightmare on Elm Street, the Friday the 13th. He's also produced the movies, The Purge trilogies, 1, 2, and 3. Ouija, he's done this for a while, so he is a huge horror movie fan, even though he doesn't make horror movies himself. So if you're worried about him adding that little Transformers flavor on top of this movie, don't, because as far as we know, he lets his directors run free and lets the creativity flow, and he just kind of sits back and produces. So don't fear his mentality is going to intervene with the horror film that you're going to watch. Now, one thing about this movie is that a lot of red flags and a lot of blue flags from what I've seen. Starting first, it's also starring John Krasinski, who is also the director, and Emily Blunt, who's actually the co-host. Not only do they play wife and husband on the movie, they're also really wife and husband in real life. So this is their first film they've done together, and that could cause a lot of, tension. It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, depending if you're looking at it from making it from a standpoint. John Krasinski, a lot of people may not mention him or notice him. He's from that show The Office. So I mean, he played a lot of comedy early on in his career. Now he's recently flipped over and he's playing tough guy. He did a lot of action this past year. Did film with Michael Bay actually, and he's also doing a show Jack Ryan made on Amazon, I believe, also produced by Michael Bay. So they seem really buddy, and that's why I think Michael Bay is standing behind this project. Now, this film is basically based off a family lives in an isolated existence in utter silence for fear of an unknown threat that follows and attacks at any sound. Ooh, sounds legit. And I can't even lie to you, when I first seen the trailer during the Super Bowl promos and commercials, I was pretty excited and stoked, but then my inner tuition kicked in and I started putting a lot of thought into it, and now I'm kind of pumping the brakes on what I think about this, and we'll get into that as the show goes on. First thing I'm going to say, the big deal about this is that they showed a horror trailer during the Super Bowl commercials. That is unheard of. They never do that. Not in this day and age. I mean, if you see a movie trailer during the Super Bowl, it's usually a guaranteed blockbuster hit. You're talking a Marvel movie. You're talking another movie that's going to have gigantic celebrities, old celebrities like De Niro, or new celebrities like, Ben Affleck or George Clooney, someone of that, but not two really slightly unknown actors in a new horror movie to premiere during Super Bowl. First off, we all know how much money it costs to run something like this during Super Bowl. It costs millions of dollars. That means that's like half the marketing budget went into this little 30-second promo. That is insane. That means whoever's optioning, the studio and the producers of this film, truly believe this can be a giant hit. For them to go into that, I mean, all the money they put in for a 30-second commercial, that could have went into marketing a lot of other ways, from advertisements on billboards, during commercials on regular TVs, as well as like Pandora commercials. I mean, you name it, posters on the wall, that all costs money. But they took a big risk and they rolled the dice and they rolled a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl, which cost multi-millions. So right there is a blue flag saying a lot of belief in this horror movie. And they rolled it during Super Bowl. Like, once again, I was saying, you never see that. That's unheard of to see a horror movie during Super Bowl. And it's balls deep risky as well, because you know how many families that are watching that, kids that are watching that, they're watching Tom Brady throw touchdowns. All of a sudden, they're watching this thing that's sending chills up their spine. You know, they're gonna get spooked out. It could piss parents off. But I mean, more power to you for rolling with that. You know, I mean, I love it. Now, a few things that first started sticking out to me, and we'll start getting into the PowerPoints of this movie that stuck out to me. I want to believe in it. I want to watch this. There's 2 trailers out right now. There's a 30-second commercial one they showed for Super Bowl, which was great. And then there's the legit 2-minute trailer that you would see in a movie theater or just online or anywhere else. And if you watch both of them, they're similar, but they almost show a different movie. It's the same movie, but there's different stories. So the first 30-second one was great. And then the second one I liked more. It made me more interested, the one that had more time to run. But there's still, you know, from my experience of watching movies, making movies and everything, writing, it's just, there's a lot of red flags are going up. And I can't help but not speak to you people about them. First off, I want to say, okay, John Krasinski making a horror movie. We can't trash the guy. This is his horror movie debut. He may be a hidden gem. He may be really good at this. This may be his gift. He may be a better director than he is actor. Who knows? That remains to be seen. So I can't really trash him on that, because, I mean, we gotta wait to see what it's like for his cherry to get popped. 2, him co-starring next to his wife. A good thing and a bad thing from a director standpoint. Because, I mean, not everybody's, you know, Angelina and Brad Pitt, who can, you know, be professional and leave the home stuff at home. As a director, if you have a co-star husband and wife, it's going to be a great thing on one hand, because the chemistry is going to be totally there between the characters. These people really love each other. It's going to show on camera. Makes it more believable. Great. But at the same time, if they don't know how to communicate and they have an issue on set, if they're not professional, it will, in which I'm not saying they're not. They are professional actors, but feelings have a way of turning things around. It could cause a ripple in the characters. It could cause a ripple in the movie. I mean, you know, they get a little spat back in the trailer, you know what I'm saying? They little Ike and Tina back in the trailer, little, you know, Bobby and Whitney, you know, Sock'em Bock'em Roberts. I mean, that can affect the movie, you know, because then they go from having a go to hell, eat shit argument in their trailer, and then they're on set trying to love each other. You know, depending on they know how to separate feelings, it could be bad. So that's one thing that I'm curious. I can't say do have a concern, but I am curious about that. But getting further in, here's my main concerns. The first one is it looks good. The trailer looks good. Both of them. I was intrigued by the 30 seconds that I saw on the Super Bowl that made me want to do this. And so did a lot of other people. The buzz went apeshit online. People were blown away by this. So here's the thing though. It looks good, but I'm skeptic of the mystery horror movies, because whenever it's a mystery horror movie, it's always an if, and there's always some kind of explanation that needs to be brought up. See, if you watch a horror movie, it's gotta have what is it. Now, a mystery horror movie is like, let's go back. If you're watching It, or you're watching Dracula, or you're watching a vampire movie, or you're watching a possession movie, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a killer clown. If you're watching Conjuring, you're gonna get possession, you're gonna get scary, you're gonna get biblical freak occurrence. You're gonna watch a werewolf movie, you know what you're getting, you know what to expect. But when they say an unknown threat that follows and attacks at any sound, that's the big mystery that sometimes can pull people away from the film. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, movies that can kind of relate to it. One movie that I think that related so much to this that was a mystery horror movie was the movie It Comes at Night. That movie trailer was epic. I mean, I was 100% sold, invested into it. I wanted to see it. When I seen it, I couldn't have not been more disappointed. They sold it as if there was something there that was trying to kill the family, and it's also an isolated existence. So there was nothing at all. Nothing showed up, tried to kill him. It actually turned out to be a damn virus that had these people living in the woods isolated. There was no creature, there was no freak occurrences, nothing. And the movie was dull as shit. The name couldn't have lied more to the movie. It comes at night. Nothing came at night. Not even the dudes came at night with their old ladies. That's how ridiculous the title was for that movie. You know, so movies like that, like M. Night Shyamalan's also The Village is another relation. You know, you watch that movie, trailer's epic. There's some kind of ooh, ah in the woods. These people also isolated existence, living. They can't leave the woods because there's something in the woods surrounding them, keeps them home. And what is it? There was a twist to it. Turns out to be a modern day time instead of an 1820. It's people running around costumes. People hated it. They were pissed about that movie. They thought they wasted their time because they didn't like the twist. M. Night Shyamalan always has a twist in his movies. I didn't mind it so much. I thought it was clever, but people hated it. And that comes back to the mystery of horror movie. When you make a mystery horror movie, you don't know what you're going to get. And that's what pisses people off. You can, you know, jumping into that is just the storyline for an isolated existence needs a good explanation for why the family is isolated. Why are they living in isolation away from the rest of the world? You know, why are they hiding? Is there anyone else in the world? And we've seen that with movies, and sometimes that causes an issue. You know, one thing that causes an issue, like people like my wife, she can invest in a movie and watch it. And if it's a horror movie and then it makes a right turn and it's a sci-fi reason why they're living the way they're living, aliens came, wiped out their own, she's automatically pulls the plug. Automatically. She wants nothing to do with it. And she just cuts off all ties. I want nothing to do with this film. I don't like aliens. I don't want it. And I understand that too, because there's times I get like that. If you're going to watch an eerie sci-fi movie, then we know what to expect. But there's got to be a great explanation why the situation is where it is. So that's one thing that it remains to be seen. Now, the only thing that gives it a blue flag on top of that is that it says an unknown threat in the plot. An unknown threat. So there is something. And even in the trailers, it shows some kind of form of creature. It looks huge. It may be scary. Who knows? But what is it? Is it something that came from the ground? Is it something evil that's been lying under the ground for a long time and now it's here wreaking havoc and hell on earth? Or is it something that came from the sky? That right there, it needs to have a punchline to deliver. And when we don't know what it is, it causes a rift. It makes you say, I want to see it, but what if? So that is one thing that is kind of putting me against the ropes right now with this film. Number two, the big one that I really am concerned, this film has not yet been rated. They have not rated this film. And as an avid, huge horror movie buff like myself, is a big deal. Because if it's a PG-13 horror movie, it's not going to be worth your time. And I don't mean to throw shade on a lot of horror movies that are PG-13. James Wan, director, for instance, probably the greatest horror movie director of our time right now. He's made classic movies such as The Conjuring, Insidious, Saw. He's epic, and he's great at making PG-13 horror movies and rated R horror movies. Sorry, but not everybody's him. And this is a first-time horror movie director. So there's the big if. When you watch a PG-13 horror movie, it's like looking at a gun. It looks scary. It looks ooh, it's ah. And it sounds like a BB gun when you shoot it. It gives the scare appearance, but it doesn't quite pull the trigger. And you leave the theater leaving eh. Now, part of the reason why it is a PG-13 horror movie, or studios do PG-13 horror movies, is because the reason more money. That's the whole reason behind a PG-13 horror movie. You see, you got all these tweens on a Friday night. They can't do nothing. They can't go drink. They can't party unless they have their brother pulling out for them at an All Subs or 7-Eleven or wherever the hell you live. So what do? They're going to go with their little chica bonitas to go see a movie. They don't want to go watch some new little dog run around, make friends with a bird, Nickelodeon movie. They want to watch something scary to have her cuddle up next to them. And PG-13 movies appeal to that. These kids don't have to wait for their parents to take them to watch the movie, or their brother or their uncle or whoever the hell to go watch this movie. They can go on their own. And that right there is, you have a million tweens going to watch that movie on a Friday night because they can. That's more money. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching in the studio's pocket. A better return, they see. But it's also a turnoff to people like myself. For instance, I will not go watch a PG-13 movie in theaters. I've had too many bad experiences with too many tweens that I want to beat their ass during the movie because they think it's cool to talk. They like to talk shit during the movie, make comments, make their friends laugh, and it ruins it for people like myself who are adults who just want to enjoy the money they spent to watch this movie. And it turns out you get a movie and a brawl. I've seen times where adults slap the shit out of a little kid because he won't shut up, he runs his mouth, and he thinks he gets called out on his shit during the theater, and it turns into a Jerry Springer sideshow in the middle of the movie. So that right there kills me. If it's PG-13, I'm not going to watch this film. If it's rated R, I might throw my hat into the bucket and see what happens. One thing that does give a blue flag is that from what we see in the movie, literally, A Quiet Place, the second trailer shows them doing sign language. That's how quiet the movie is. So the movie, don't expect a lot of dialogue, I'm assuming, in this film. But the fact is, you got a wife, you got a husband, and you got 2 kids as the lead. That's who the story bases around them. Now, there's no real throwaway characters that I could see. A throwaway character is someone who comes into the plot or comes into the film, and they could die, and it's really, if they die or they don't die in the movie, it's kind of like this. No skin off my chest, or, whatever. But the fact is, the fact that there's only 4 and it is a family, it makes you emotionally invest more into the film because you don't want to see any of these families. You don't want to see these kids parentless. You don't want to see these parents kidless. You care that each character makes it to the end of the movie alive. So that's a blue flag for me that makes you say, okay, I'm cheering for the family. I want to see them make it to the movie, through the movie, everybody with their limbs intact. So that is a good thing that makes you morally invest into the film watching it. But again, I mean, it's just, this film, as great as it looks, I don't know where I'm at right now with it. I want to watch it, but I don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this film a rating of a one pink stink finger, and I'm gonna give it a brown pink stinger and a regular finger right there. Bam, a 50-50. And really, for me, is because of the fact it's not yet rated. It's not yet rated. So I am against the ropes right there. And I think I'm going to wait for another trailer to be cut before I'm going to really truly invest in it. Maybe a red band trailer, the rated R one, if it is rated. You see a little more gore, you see more little this or that. But in terms of it, that's where I'm at with this film. Now, you're saying, Ernest, should we go see it? You didn't really give that an answer. I'm leaving that entirely up to you. I don't want you coming at me for your damn refunds. I don't owe you shit if you go see it and you don't like it. I'm just giving you my opinion. Me personally, I want to watch it, but there's not enough to sell me on it. If it's PG-13, I'm not watching it. That's basically what it comes down. If it's rated R, I'm going to probably roll the dice and see what goes on and, base my opinions on there. I've been wrong before. Not, what can you say? That's the thing about horror movies. Sometimes it's a better, you don't know if it's a sale or a hustle with horror movies. You know what you're getting with dramas and action. But horror movies, it's a gamble always, but especially when it's a mystery horror movie and also when it's a PG-13. So me personally, I'm gonna wait for the final rating to cut, and don't think just because there's kids in the movie it's gonna be a PG-13. The new It movie, for instance, was all kids and it was a rated R, gory as shit, off the wall language. The kids were dropping F-bombs left and right. So don't expect just because there's kids in the horror movie for it to be a PG-13. That is totally on the studios and the producers, how they want to cut it, how they want to sell it, and how they want to portray it. So for me, fam, I'm going to say that's where I'm at right now. If they cut another trailer and it sells the film, for me it looks better, I'm gonna go for the watch if it's rated R. If it's rated R, I'll watch it. PG-13, I'm sorry. I'll sit back and I'll red box it and see what everybody else has to say with it in the meantime. So right now, that's where I am for the trailer. I'm gonna say watch the trailer yourself before you make any assessments to go watch it. I'm just giving my opinion. That may mean shit to people, so that's what I'm gonna say with this. As of that, I'm leaving it entirely into your hands, but I'm saying trust me on the PG-13. You don't want to ruin your night just 'cause you have to choke a little baby because he doesn't shut the hell up because he's a tough guy in 8th grade. So that's where that lies. Especially, you know, these tweens, they think they're tough and shit and everything's entitled to them, but that's another story. But that's where I'm standing. So you make your own opinion, you pass your own judgment, and you take the risk you want. Rated R, I'm going to watch. PG-13, I'm trying to take a hike, kick rocks. So that's it. That's my final assessment on A Quiet Place for this film. Thank you for watching, fam. Episode 3 will be coming shortly. We're going to be reviewing a show that I'm just getting to finish. I absolutely love it. I'm going to rave about this show. I can't wait for season 2. So I'm happy to share all the details coming for episode 3 with the new show review that I'm going to be doing. In the meantime, everybody live that G life, kick back, and I look forward to speaking to you whenever I get a chance again. We're not promised tomorrow, so God bless everybody. Peace.